All right, today we're going to unlock a really sophisticated tool in the English language, one that can add some serious drama and formality to your writing and speaking. It's called inversion. And trust me, once you get the hang of it, you'll start seeing it everywhere.
So let's just jump right in. Look at this sentence. Never have I enjoyed myself more. It sounds pretty dramatic, right? Almost like a line from a movie or a big, powerful speech. I mean, it just hits different than saying, I have never enjoyed myself more.
So, what's the secret sauce here? What is it that makes this sentence structure feel so, well, different? The answer is this fantastic grammatical technique called inversion. It's all about intentionally flipping the normal word order to get a specific effect.
Okay, let's pull back the curtain on this secret rule. First things first, what is English inversion anyway? Don't worry, it sounds way more complicated than it actually is.
In a nutshell, inversion just means flipping the usual sentence structure around. So instead of the normal I have, subject then verb, we flip it and say have I. And it's not a mistake. It's a choice you make to add some serious punch or a touch of formality. Now, there are kind of two main ways this whole thing goes down. The first one uses a structure that looks like a question, even though it's not. The second one literally just swaps the subject and verb, which you see a lot in more descriptive, literary writing. We're mostly going to focus on that first one today, because it's the one you'll use most often to really add some emphasis.
So the big question is, when do you actually do this? Well, the most common time is when you kick off a sentence with a negative or a restrictive word. Putting that word right at the front sends a really strong signal, and the weird grammar that follows kind of snaps your listener to attention. You can think of these words as triggers that tell you it's time to invert.
And here they are, the big ones. These are your trigger words. Think of them as a green light. The second you put one of these at the very front of a clause, words like never, rarely, hardly, boom! You know it's time for the subject and verb to do a little dance.
Let's look at a super clear example. You could say, I have never heard a weaker excuse. And that's fine. It's a perfectly good sentence. But if you really want to add that rhetorical punch, you move never to the front and invert. Never have I heard a weaker excuse. You feel that? That extra weight, that's the power of inversion.
And then you've got these classic little combos, like hardly when. It's like a chain reaction. The sentence on the left is fine, but look at the inverted one on the right. Hardly had the train left. It creates this awesome tension. It's like, bam, this thing happened, and then immediately the other thing.
And this slide breaks it down perfectly. It's like a recipe. You start with your trigger expression, like no sooner. Then comes the inverted part, had I reached the door. You add your connecting word, like than or when, and then you finish it off with what happened next. It's a really elegant way to build a sentence.
Okay, not until is another fantastic one, but it plays the game a little differently. Check this out. The inversion doesn't happen right away. No, the not until I got home part sets the stage, and then, bam! The inversion hits in the main part of the sentence, did I notice my mistake?
And hey, don't forget about little. Now, little here doesn't mean small. It's got a negative vibe, kind of like saying hardly at all, or not really. So saying, little does the government appreciate is just a very strong, very formal way to say they have no idea what the consequences are.
All right, let's switch gears. We're moving on to a different kind of trigger. This one isn't about being negative. It's all about pure, unadulterated drama, using the words so and such.
You gotta see this. The standard sentence is fine, but by taking that adjective, devastating, and yanking it to the front with so, you're shining a giant spotlight on that one word. So devastating were the floods. It immediately makes that the most important quality, the star of the show. It's just so much more powerful.
And such is its partner in crime. It works pretty much the same way, and it basically means so great. Instead of bearing the impact at the end, you lead with it. Such was the force of the storm. It just sounds so much more epic, right?
Okay, let's get to our final big category. This one is super cool because it lets you sound incredibly formal, and all you have to do is ditch one little word. If. You see this all the time in formal writing and speeches. And the way you do it? It's almost ridiculously easy. It's a simple three-step trick. First, you start with your regular if sentence. Step 2, you just get rid of the if. Poof, it's gone. And finally, you just swap the subject and that little helping verb, like had, were, or should. That's literally all there is to it.
And this table just lays it out so clearly. Look at this. If I had known becomes the more elegant had I known. If they were to escape
turns into were they to escape. It's a clean, simple swap, but wow, it really adds a level of sophistication.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap. Think of everything we've covered as your new inversion toolkit, ready to go for any situation. So, what's in the box? Well, if you need to make a strong point, you've got your negative words. If you want to be super dramatic, you reach for so and such. And when you need to sound extra formal, boom, you've got your conditional inversions. 3 different triggers for 3 different situations.
So here's the bottom line, the most important takeaway from all of this. Inversion isn't just some boring grammar rule you have to memorize. No way. It is a stylistic choice. It's a tool that lets you control the feel of your sentences, to grab your listener's attention, and to make your words land with a much bigger impact.
So there you have it. The secret is out. You now know how to make your English sound more dynamic, more formal, and more powerful. The only question left is, where are you going to use it first to make an impact?